Welcome to the Statline podcast. This is week 4 of the NFL season has just wrapped up. Me and Atlas are back on the pod, reacting to games, previewing games for next week, talking to fantasy. How's it going, Atlas?
It's going good, man. Statline Pod episode 5. It feels like it was just yesterday we were starting this off, and the NFL was just around the corner, and now, we're here at week 5 for both the podcast and the NFL. I'm really excited for the rest of the season, but it's been going pretty well so far. Both of our fantasy teams at the top of Wakeston Premier League right now at
For
3 and
sure.
1, so looking
Our
good there.
receivers are stacked.
Oh yeah. List your receivers out so the viewers can see what we're both working with.
I got JSN, or my first round pick is Puka. Then I
The
got
best
JSN
receiver in
in
the game.
Yeah, then I got JSN in the third round, and then I got DK Metcalf right after that, and then I have Chris Godwin as well. I took a flyer on Chris Godwin. He's now back, got 10 targets last game, so I'm pretty excited for how my team is shaping up.
Yeah, dude, that's fire. I picked up Amon Ra. He fell to me at 12, which I was super hype about. And then I later got Garrett Wilson. He fell to me too. I wasn't planning on taking him. Then picked up Quentin Johnston in the waiver wire after week 1, and he's been now my starter. I also got Keon Coleman and Diggs, but those guys are left on my bench for now. So yeah, it's
For sure.
looking solid so far. But yeah, fantasy wise, NFL wise, it's going pretty decent. Having a good start to the season. How about you?
I know, dude. Having a bad fantasy, like obviously I understand it's fantasy football, it's not that big of a deal, but like given how invested I feel like we are into fantasy, that shit makes or breaks your week. Like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm
You
in
don't
multiple
understand.
leagues, so it's like if one of them's like one of the teams is ass, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna think about that team. I'm gonna shift my focus to like the
Literally.
team, the team with hope, like because and what
Right
I'm
now
in.
I'm doing my best team is in the league that I like we both are in, and like that's my number one focus. Like I'm in a work league where my team is like pretty cheeks, so I don't even like look at that league anymore. I've given up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took Travis Hunter in that league. I took Chase Brown in the second round. Like just
as
made a
did
bunch of
I.
mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got some leagues where all I'm doing is just trying to finesse, trying to make trades all day, at work. Just any off
Me
time
too.
any off time I can get, I'm in there in the lab cooking up. But luckily, I haven't got fleeced so far this year.
I mean, what do you think is the biggest surprise in fantasy this year? Do you
Um,
think Puka being not wide receiver one, or like not just wide
I don't
receiver one?
think
He's having a Cooper Cup type of year.
I don't think that. I mean, that wasn't a surprise for me because Puka would have been like one of the top like 3 receivers that I would have wanted regardless of when I drafted. Behind Jefferson and Chase, and then it would be Puka. I liked his situation better than CeeDee Lamb. Like Puka and Matthew Stafford is a duo to behold in this league, and especially in fantasy. Like he's got like 42 catches over 500 yards. Like,
He's
and
gonna break the record,
we're 4 games
especially
into
over
the
17
season.
games. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, he's a stud. I don't think he's a surprise. I think you have to look like later in the draft. I'd say, I mean, we've already talked about Igbuka, but like he's like a legit like receiver 1, receiver 2, like every week starter in fantasy, especially with Mike Evans out. Chris Godwin, on the mend of his injury from last year, but Igbuka's like looking like really good. And then Travis Etienne, I know you mentioned him like a couple weeks ago, but yeah, he's still playing really good and looks like the only player on the Jags offense that you would want in fantasy.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I am staying away from Brian Thomas. I know he's one of the first round draft picks in some leagues, and if he wasn't a first round draft pick, he's at the top of the second round, and it's an absolute bust, man. And like all the receivers are, to be honest. Of all the top guys, Jamar Chase, he's not that good. Justin Jefferson's been pretty mid, right? But like all the top, Malik Neighbors, obviously he's injured. Brian Thomas has been mid. Nico Collins hasn't lived up to the hype. Of all the like top tier guys, the only guys that really have lived up to expectation is Amon Ra and Puka. And they haven't just lived up to expectation. They have outperformed their expectation. You can make an argument either of those guys. I mean, Puka is obviously wide receiver one. Amon Ra is wide receiver two, like for rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, Amon Ra had like 8 points his first week, but then after that, he's been getting over 20. He's definitely a every week starter, a stud. But yeah,
JSN.
JSN, yeah, he's like number two in receiving yards right now too, and I know you have both him and Puka, which is a lethal duo in fantasy. Especially 14 man is kind of crazy work to have
Yeah.
both of those guys.
I mean, look at you, dude. Quentin Johnston,
I mean,
Garrett
he
Wilson.
was Quentin Johnston was free. That was a giveaway.
Still, that makes it even crazier that you're able to pick up a top five receiver 4 weeks into the season off the waiver wire in a 14-man league.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we got the scavengers on the waiver wire in our league. Like, if there's anybody that has like a hint of doing well, they're gone. Especially you got the zero RB truthers, Tucker and Danny. You know, not even trying to pick up running back scraps, man. Like,
Starting Rico Dowdle and Demarcado.
yeah, that's cooked.
He's been begging. I picked up Woody Marks, I think, and like before the season started, or I might have
I
drafted
think
him
you
at the end.
drafted
I don't.
him.
Yeah, maybe I drafted him. I don't even remember. I was pretty gone in that draft, especially by the end, so I don't really remember. But Danny's been begging me. The guy, one of the guys who took the zero RB strategy, has been begging me for Woody Marks. But yeah, like, what do you think about Woody Marks, dude? I think Woody Marks is gonna have a 2017 Alvin Kamara type of year. Like,
I mean, I think we could all hope for a 2017 Alvin Kamara type year, but dude, their offensive line in Houston is so bad. Like, it would be lucky for him to like stay healthy the rest of the year and be like a serviceable RB2, RB3 flex type of guy. I mean, Houston's terrible right now, and I mean, I know they just beat up on the Titans, but the Titans are the worst team in the NFL by far. So we'll see what Woody Marks can do against like real defenses. But I'm all in on Woody Marks as well. Luckily, I was able to pick him up before this week's matchups, and I think I got a steal. I have Nick Chubb as well, but he's really useless
you
at
gotta
this
drop
point.
him, bro. What's wrong with you, Nick Chubb? I
I'm
have him in
trying.
one of my leagues, so I'm about to drop him.
Look, I'm trying to get a trade before the waivers process tomorrow, but I can't make it happen yet. So
I
yeah,
mean, talking about Woody Marks, like after the first week of the season, or like very early on in the season, it seemed like all the rookie running backs are a disappointment. But the rookie running backs are legit this year, man. We have tons of them. I mean, we have Amarian Hampton, we have Cam Scatabo taking over Tyrone Tracy in New York. We have Ashton Genty, of course. We have Kinshawn Judkins. Now we have Woody Marks. The rookie running back class is it's looking pretty good.
yeah, man. Even Bashal Tootin in Jacksonville's getting some run. I know
He's getting
ETN.
touches.
Yeah, he's getting touches. I know that's ETN's team, but yeah, as you said, like I in my other fantasy league, um, I had Aaron Jones as my RB2, and that was really cooked. And then somehow Cam Scatterbo is on my team, and I drafted him. I didn't think there would be much hope for him, at least in the first few weeks. I knew he still had a lot of upside. We all saw what he did at Arizona State and on the collegiate level. But then even before Tracy got injured, I saw a lot of signs that he was going to pop off, and then he ended up taking over the job once Tracy got out, and I don't think he's going to give that back up. I think he's going to be
I took Tracy in our league.
yeah, I know, because you only took one running back, and that was Henry, and so you were left with Tyrone
Yeah.
Tracy. But yeah,
But I got Javante right
Scatterbo,
after, so
Javante, yeah, no, that was a steal. But going back to the rookie running backs, and I was also able to get Judkins this past week, for Terry McLaurin, and I'm really happy about that. Like, I'm not too high on Terry this year, coming off that big contract very late into the off season. Didn't get any practice time with the team, so was happy that I could offload Terry and get Quinshawn because these rookie running backs are going to take over the league the rest of the way.
for sure. I mean, and we haven't even brought up Travion Henderson, who's one Ramondre fumble away from taking over the backfield in New England, I think. I mean, he can't outlast another like game with a fumble, right? Like he is fumble machine right now over the past couple of years. He had 7 fumbles last year. He had 2 fumbles against Steelers. You could make an argument Ramondre single-handedly lost them that game.
Hmm.
Right, with a goal line fumble, another fumble in the first quarter, in the first drive of the game. That was just awful. It was an awful game for the Patriots that game, and Ramondre just coughing up the ball twice. It's just brutal, man.
Yeah, and then you got their third string or maybe second string, Antonio Gibson's fumbling too. So, it's
Yeah,
only right that they give Travion the ball. When he's had the ball, he's looked like the most electric on their offense. You got to roll with the youth, go Drake May and Travion, and call it a day. Um,
What's also crazy this year is you can make an argument Devonte Adams and Puka Nacua, who are both on the same team. You can make an argument. I mean, Puka obviously is wide receiver one, but Devonte could be like a top five receiver in fantasy right now too.
I think because he just hogs those like red zone touchdown opportunities, like Puka doesn't even get looked at until like I mean last game he did have a touchdown. I was happy to see that as a Puka owner as well in my other league. But yeah, Devontae, I think he's the best like wide receiver two in fantasy that you can
For
basically.
sure. I mean, I think Devontae is a wide receiver one now. I don't think he's in fantasy. In real life, he's a wide receiver two for the Rams, but I think in fantasies, he's a pretty solid wide receiver one, I feel like. I think you can go into a game expecting 16 to 17 points, like on average, out of Devontae.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I think yeah, and especially in like a 14 man, like he would be in that top 10 to 12 range
For
like
sure.
every single week
I mean,
regardless.
Quentin Johnson, like we talked about, he's been great. Roma Dunze in Chicago. We all thought that
Roma.
was DJ Moore, was going to be the top dog in the Chicago receiving corps. Turns out it's actually Roma Dunze. Now, Odunze does have a touchdown, I think, in like every game he's playing, so that touchdown production is going to fall back to the to median. The touchdown variance in fantasy that we all know about. But yeah, like the receiving core like fantasy outlook has been the most surprising to me. We have none of the top guys are good, like or outside of the Amon-Ra and Puka, and even right after that, like Nico Collins is still probably a top five receiver in terms of if we're trying to predict rest of the season, but he hasn't had like a standout game yet for us to be
No.
like,
I
oh,
remember,
Nico
yeah.
Collins
I remember last year when Danny had him on his team in our league, he was popping like 25, 30 like a game when he
every
was
week.
healthy. Like
Yeah,
he
and
had
CJ Stroud has really struggled too.
yeah.
CJ Stroud has looked like he's taken a massive regression,
I think
especially since his rookie year.
yeah, especially since his rookie year, but I think even last year it was helpful to have Diggs when he was healthy, at least earlier in the season for Nico Collins. Like now you got Christian Kirk as the only other option. Like that's not going to separate yourself for Nico Collins, but so he's got to face a lot of double teams out there. But Nico's still a beast. If you put him with any other quarterback, like not
For
any other
sure.
quarterback, but if you had him on like the Chiefs or something, like he would be receiver
I
one, I
mean,
think.
the biggest surprise this year in terms of the receivers has to be Lad McConkey, right?
Yeah, he
Like
looks like a 10th rounder.
if we did a redraft right now, Lad is like an auto pick in the 10th round type of player. Like, he's not he that's a guy that went in the second round in most drafts.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to think about. But honestly, there was way too much mouths to feed. Like everyone thinking that Lad was gonna have like a build off of last year, which was already a huge high bar to follow.
But
Like
I
now,
thought that was a fair expectation. Lad was a rookie last year.
no, I mean I would have drafted him if he fell to like the third round or something for sure.
Me
But
too. Oh, for sure. If Lad was there where I took JSN, I would have took Lad.
yeah, that's crazy to think
Um,
about. And like some
right?
people,
Like,
some people were drafted. I mean, obviously Jose did it, drafted him as his receiver one, and then doesn't. Like, luckily he has Rome and had other draft picks that were good. Keenan Allen, who's better than Ladd so far this year, but yeah, Ladd in the second round is kind of crazy work.
what do you think about the stashed guys? Chris Godwin's coming back. Rashi Rice is in a lot of people's benches right now. Brandon Ayuk, is going to be in a lot of benches. What do you guys think?
Brandon Ayuk, bro, he's still not close according to Shanahan, so I wouldn't
Okay, but
trust.
like in week 14 in the fantasy playoffs, Brandon Ayuk's going to be a starter in every fantasy league out there.
He may be a starter in like most leagues, but those would be the teams that aren't in the playoffs most likely. They'll be in the consolation bracket. But I do like Rice. I picked him up or drafted him in my other league. This was before the suspension was finalized, so I expected him to be out there for the first 4 games, and that didn't work out to my benefit. So he was out the first 6 games, but so happy to have him back. I think he'll be, top end receiver too, coming back off of that suspension. Luckily, he had a little bit more time to recover from his injury from last year due to this suspension. But yeah, Chris Godwin, I think he had a lot of good signs this week, 11 targets, but we'll have to see how he goes, in the future because he doesn't look as mobile as he was prior to the injury last year. Not that that's to be expected, but he can at least get some open targets and be a good receiver too, I think.
For sure. I mean, the thing about Godwin is like he's been out of football action for a full year now, right? Like he tore his ACL in week 5, I think, of last year, or week 6, something like
It
that.
was like it was an ankle injury. It was a dislocation.
Oh, dislocated ankle. What?
Yeah.
Still, it was a pretty serious injury around mid-season last year. Was out for an entire year. He's not. I mean, he's 29 years old, so he's not like on the older side either. But he's like in the I guess on the older side of his prime. Let's put it that way. But let's see what Godwin does. The Rice is the interesting scenario because Rashi Rice is not coming back from injury. He's coming back from suspension. Rashi Rice is still getting all the reps in practice. I'm sure, like, Mahomes is feeding Rashi Rice in practice. And the way that rushing attack looks, it looks like once Rashi Rice comes back, the Chiefs are going to feed him. Because the passing game, yes, it was there against Baltimore, but it's been struggling most of the year. And they need a possession receiver down the middle of the field like Rashi Rice to come back and be consistent for Mahomes. So I'm excited for what Rashi Rice does. I have Rashi Rice in 2 of my leagues as well. So I'm looking forward to Rice coming back.
Yeah, no,
And I just want to put
100%.
a disclaimer out there. We're talking strictly ball here. Like,
Yeah,
I get
when we're hyping up Quinshon Judkins and Rashi Rice, we're not,
yeah.
we're not talking about what they do off the field at all.
Yeah. I mean, like it's once you start judging people for what they do off the field, it becomes murky. So when we're going crazy for Tyreek Hill or like well now he's injured I guess, but Joe Mixon, any of these guys, right? Like if Joe Mixon comes back and he's popping off and we're raving about Joe Mixon, Quinshon Judkins, Rashid Rice, like ball is ball.
Deshaun Watson when he comes back.
Okay. I like specifically did not say that name. But true. That
But I
too,
mean,
that too.
we can't say Tucker because he's basically out of the league. Justin Tucker, that is. I don't think he's gonna
Yeah, I
do
mean
it.
Justin Tucker's out of the league.
Yeah, he's done
But
done
yeah,
for.
Deshaun Watson, once he's back, I don't know if he's gonna be back this year. I think he's out for the year.
Yeah, I think he's
Um,
out for the year.
but once he's back next year, like, and if he's fantasy relevant, we will like if the NFL has decided that what Deshaun Watson has done out off the field is not bad, then like who are we to judge, you know?
And Roger Goodell we trust, I guess.
And yeah, I mean, in terms of fantasy, you can not root for the guy, whatever. But like, it's a interesting philosophical question, right? Like, because anytime you draft a player in your fantasy team, you are rooting for that guy every Sunday. And do you want to root for a guy like Deshaun Watson? It's up to the beholder, I guess. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I just look for value when it comes to especially like fantasy football. Like,
Bro said, bro, if they can ball, who gives a fuck?
I mean, honestly, like I had Rashi Rice last year before he tore his ACL, and I was able to get him like early or in like the 6th or 7th round, and that was such a steal. So to me, that means more than like what he's doing off the field in terms of like if I'm gonna draft him or not. Like if someone sleeps and has him not get drafted, and then I can pick him up, yeah, I'll take him for sure, and I won't think twice about it. But that's just thinking about fantasy. You're not thinking about the person. I'm not rooting. I'm not rooting necessarily for the person like overall in life. It's just what they're gonna do for like the box score. That's really all it comes down to.
I mean, we haven't touched the tight end position yet. What do you think about the tight end outlook? I mean, outside of Trey McBride, it looks like it's all jumbled up, man. After I think Trey McBride is solid tight end one. After that, it's a bunch of guys that like one week
Lackluster
might yeah. I mean,
is
Jake Ferguson right now is doing good with CD out. He's been pretty consistent over the past couple of weeks, but I don't trust Jake Ferguson like for the rest of the year. Tyler Warren's there, Tucker Kraft, Brock Bowers obviously had high expectations, hasn't lived up to it. Hunter Henry. He's been balling. Kyle Pitts is, somewhat on the come up. We got Dalton Kincaid's been ta catching touchdowns. The touchdown's the only thing that's saving Kincaid right now. Um, and yeah, like tight end is not looking good this year.
Yeah, and then you got Goddard, who whenever he's healthy, I feel like he's a focal point in the Eagles' offense, and he's been rewarded with a couple really good fantasy showings as
But
well.
the thing about Goddard is the same thing as Kincaid. I think
Hmm.
Goddard's main thing is touchdowns right now, and you can't expect touchdowns in fantasy going forward, right? Touchdowns is like you have to look at targets more than anything, and the tight ends just don't get targets this year.
Yeah, no, it's really sad, because Brock Bowers. I mean, I drafted him last year, and that was like my steal of the draft. Not in our league, but my other league. But and then this year he's like a second round value. I'm like, there's no way. Like, what possible thing can he do to live up to that second round value? He has to be putting up receiver one numbers every single week for like that to be warranted. And with Geno Smith back there, yeah, they need to get him the ball, and I think he got injured week one, so he hasn't been fully true to form. But as you said, Trey McBride's the only tight end that I would really like bank trade anybody for to be able to get. But every outside of that, it's kind of like yeah lackluster. I'm happy I have Tyler Warren, but it's pretty jumbled up in there.
Now let's talk the wild cards: defense, special teams, and kicker. What do you think the best option? The option that I resort to, and I've been doing this for like, the past 5, 6 years, is I always stream those two positions. I just don't think there's any value in holding on to a defense. I think you always go by matchup there, but well, what do you think? Do you think Vikings defense, Eagles defense, Seahawks defense, those guys are worth like have any trade value, for example, or not?
I mean, honestly, in a 14 man, I think they do have a little bit of trade value because, like, if you like, there's only like if you look right now on our waiver wire, there's not any good defenses up there. Like, it might be the Cardinals because they're playing like Tennessee, I think, this week. But other than that, there's like no good options out there. Like, so I was happy to take the Broncos defense, but they let me down week two, and that's the reason I lost my fantasy matchup. So you really can't bank on a you can pick who you think is going to be the best that you can keep for most of the season, and then like you said, just stream them. As far as kickers go, if you get a guy like Aubrey, I think there's definitely trade value for him. And then just having some of those top guys, if you can rely on a kicker to get 10 plus points, that's a huge advantage to have in
But even
fantasy.
Aubrey is so RNG, I think, like just randomness all over.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anybody like I think Schrader for Indianapolis has done pretty good like the past few weeks, but every honestly a lot of the kickers are doing good. Like I was looking like the top 10 averages over like 10 points a game. Like even Cam
Yeah.
Little, I think he's doing pretty good. He's on my team for the Jaguars, but he's been averaging like 9 or 10, and I'm like, okay, that's serviceable enough. I'm not gonna look at the waiver wire for a new kicker, but so I don't think. I mean, sometimes it can be a game changer. I remember a couple years ago having the Cowboys defense when Trayvon Diggs was getting all those pick sixes, and they were dropping
Duran
like
Bland.
yeah, Duran. It was Diggs and yeah, Diggs and Bland. I guess were on the team at the same time, but they that team used to drop like 25 points on fantasy, and it used to win me some weeks. So shout out to the Cowboys defense a couple years ago. So. But if you get a bad defense at the same time, it can cost you. Like I know,
Oh, for sure. I started the Panthers defense in every single league I was in this past week, and it cost me games.
hmm
I benched the Eagles defense and played the Panthers defense in two of my leagues because I thought, oh, Eagles are going up against Bake Show in Tampa, whereas the Panthers are going up against New England. The Panthers shut out the Falcons with Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts and that loaded offense in Atlanta. I know Michael Penix is still figuring it out, and I was like, huh. Maybe the Panthers defense has figured it out. They got Derek Brown back this year. So I was happy with the Panthers defense after 3 weeks of football. But then, my goodness, they laid an egg. And it just kills you. Like, it didn't come back to bite me in our league, but, oh, man,
Thanks
it's
to
just
Tyreek
brutal.
Hill.
Yeah, the timing of Tyreek Hill's injury. I was playing against one of our buddies who had Tyreek Hill. And, yeah, Tyreek Hill got injured right before he beat me. Obviously, you don't wish any injury. I think I would have rather took the loss and seen that what we
Oh,
saw
of
out of
course,
Tyreek.
yeah.
But yeah, for I mean, dude, that injury, I cannot get over that injury. I saw like a couple of replays today. Like I saw his photo from the hospital. He looks good, but that was just brutal, man. That like I know you mentioned Kevin Ware yesterday, but it has to be up there amongst the worst injuries, don't you think?
Oh yeah, like his.
Kevin Ware, Gordon Hayward, you mentioned Paul George. It's up there with those guys.
Oh yeah, no, especially because it's right in the knee, and like that has, a huge
Yeah.
amount of ligaments, and he's already,
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Yeah, that was horrifying. But yeah, I think Tyreek, he's definitely out for a year to 2 years minimum.
Probably 2 years. I think he's out all of next year.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like he would be.
Dolphins are probably going to cut him. I mean, the Dolphins, if they cut him after June 1st of 2026, so next year, they save $40 million dollars in cap space. The only cap hit of cutting Tyreek Hill after next year is $13 million dollars. It's sad, right? But it's the business of football. Is injuries is a part of it. Tyreek has no guarantees in his contract next year, so it's just a sad situation in Miami. The Dolphins are going to have to get rid of Tyreek. I hope a new team signs Tyreek so Tyreek can rehab with the team rather than by himself, or like individually and privately. But yeah, it's a sad situation what transpired yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. As a football fan, you have to live through injuries like that all the time, watching those, and I mean any
Yeah.
sports,
So
but
worst part of being a football fan for sure when you see your
yeah.
favorite players go down like that, and I mean even like simple injuries, especially the concussions, it gets scary as a fan. But it's having that visual like yesterday, and you could see Tyreek just like it wasn't a normal emotion, right? Like the shock set into his brain, like him clapping,
Oh
laughing,
yeah,
like
that.
high. That was you could see the shock in someone like when they react that way, right? Like he wasn't doing that because he's saying I'm okay, guys, I'm good. It was the shock going in. It was just so like it just took all your emotion out of it. Like watching that game, it just felt like, oh man, that's just like it just sucks. It's part of football. It's part of why if football was a new sport that was invented today, it probably wouldn't be played, but it's been played in this country for about 100 years now. It's going to keep on going. The NFL is doing what they can to increase player safety, remove injuries like that. But I mean, a non-contact injury like that is bound to happen. It happens in basketball in a non-contact sport. So yeah, it's just brutal watch.
Yeah, that was terrible. But I did want to make one comparison. Like I know Damian Lillard's a little bit older, but like could you see a similar situation, with the Dame injury as what happens to Tyreek? Like Dame, ended up getting injured in the playoffs, and then in the offseason they ended up the Milwaukee Bucks ended up cutting him, taking on a bunch of his dead cap, and then ended up letting him go to any team of his choosing. He decided to come home, go to Portland. Could you see the same thing with Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City?
I hope that's how it plays out for Tyreek Hill. But to be honest with you, I don't think so because the business of basketball and business of football is different, right? In football, every roster spot counts so much more because of injuries, because of player injuries and whatnot. You normally don't want to sign a player that you know is going to be out for the entire year. So any team that takes on Tyreek Hill's contract after or I don't expect anyone to trade for Tyreek. I think Tyreek's going to get cut, but after Tyreek gets cut, it's going to be hard for a team to sign Tyreek, pay him money for that 1 year while you know he's going to be out for that entire season. That was a great conversation with Atlas Fantasy Football. And then obviously Tyreek's injury was a somber moment for us, so we just decided that we'll talk about fantasy this week rather than focus on the NFL storylines. Yeah, hope to see you guys next week. Peace.